Whether or not the government is going to admit there's a recession, you see what's going on. In today's video, we're going to talk about the short term, the long term. Then we're going to actually look at some things that are fundamental, the deficits, the debt, and what it means for you. If you want to make good decisions, you have to know everything that I'm going to talk about in this video today. I'm going to try to move through the points that you obviously know really quickly. I don't want to waste your time, but we're going to go in depth on the aspects that you need to take control of right now. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today, I want to talk first about the short term. You can see right here the stock market in this example showing Nvidia, some of the biggest moves coming from this one stock. Imagine a stock moving $300 billion in one single day. That's bigger than most companies. Most big companies out there are not $300 billion, and yet this stock is swinging left and right, up and down, and it's all because of the mass speculation that's taking place here today. We go on. CPI inflation report pumps the brakes on big Fed rate cut bets. They want more. The markets, investors, speculators, and just about everybody, they are begging not just for 0.25% cut in interest rates. Oh, baby, they want that big one, 50 basis points, 0.5%. Why? Because it can go further and further by the end of the year. This is what they need. They need that hit. US inflation may soon undershoot the Fed's 2% target. That's what they're telling us. It's all connected. You see, they have to make a case for cutting faster. These are the short-term things. This is what's happening. Watch the inflation numbers as they come out. We're looking at CPI, core PCE, and as well as the PPI, Producer Price Index. Those are the basic ones that the Federal Reserve are going to be looking at when they make a decision. What about long-term? Let's discuss that right here very quickly. Americans are falling behind on their bills. Wall Street is alarmed. Not enough, of course, to sell any stocks, but they're paying attention. Lenders see a rise in late payments on credit cards and auto loans. When you look down in here, you'll see what's happening. They are not making their payments as they did before. This is getting worse. Delinquencies are on the rise. Yeah, you've got the credit card bills, you've got auto loans. These things are in fact getting worse. It depends, they'll sort of poke at one particular statistic or another, but know that this has been adding up for a while. In general, there's been a bigger issue for people in the bottom half of the income spectrum. It usually is the case, and certainly no different today, but those warning signs are certainly there. We also have the job situation. This is just talking this particular article, snowflakeism. Gen Z hires are easily offended and not ready for the workplace, according to business leaders. That's debatable, and I would love to know what you think in the comments. Is that a true statement for the most part, or is it that they want something else and it's a different world than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it's simply a matter of times changing, right? In this, really what I'm trying to get at is that the jobs market is changing. We've got remote work that's going on today that we didn't have before. There are many fundamental differences that are really, it's like as if people can't keep up with the changing times. So it's something that is going on when these companies are there and they're trying to essentially adapt. But will they be able to? That's a big question. Look at this. Countries with the fastest growing millionaire population. You look at this, it's just a few examples on here, but understand that the money is flowing to certain groups. Those Gen Z people, the only way that they are going to be able to afford a home is if they are given money, because their job is not going to pay them enough when they graduate to actually be able to afford a home. Some other people on the opposite end, they're making more money than ever before. You see that right here today. So I'm trying to make this clear about what's happening fundamentally, because of the inflation we talked about in the first part, leading up to the long term here, we can see the problems that are going on. People can't afford homes. People can't afford their basic essentials. Yes, of course. Some people, though, doing real good. This is out of China. Raising retirement age, a proactive response to population aging. All right. And you've seen different countries do this before. Some in Europe, hey, it's not going to be 65, it's going to be 67, it's going to be 68. They keep increasing this. And certainly the world has changed overall. But know that what you thought was the dream before is not today. It is a very different world for many reasons. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Working longer, working more. 2 people in the household have to work to keep up with the household that, quite frankly, they are struggling with today. This is a very big difference from what we had before. These are some key issues that I want to discuss, where I want to focus here today. U.S. budget gap reaches 1.9 trillion as fiscal year nears an end. Can you believe this? Like the sheer amount of debt, how bad the deficits have become. It's shocking, even though I've been studying this for so long, seeing it all happen. My goodness, is it wild to see it getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, think about this. The interest rates right now at this high level, coupled with the total dollar value of the amount of debt that's there and paying interest on that, cumulative interest expense surpasses $1 trillion for the first time ever. Now, this is something that will not be paid back. It cannot be paid back. And of course, we have to eventually, deal with the problems. And that will be done, not the bold way, not the courageous way, but in fact, will be paid back with confetti. So the next crisis that we encounter, we will be paying that back with deflated or basically devalued currencies. This is what you need to realize big time. U.S. interest expense versus defense spending. Look at it. Debt interest is now the second largest U.S. government outlay category. It's climbing very quickly up to the Social Security spending. All of these things, in my opinion, are taking up way too much of the total cash that people are doling out each and every day, their taxpayer dollars. You're working and you're, depending what tax bracket you're in, you're working half the year. You're working into June, maybe July, just to pay all of this, including that nonsense interest. Okay. You got to get your situation together. There are a few things that you, not that you should do, that you have to do. I talk about the pillars of prosperity. There are 2 things. You got to get your situation in order when it comes to preparedness. These things are basic. They're obvious. Having good connections is very important. That's part of it. But you've got to get your income up. Just today, I was talking with somebody about a new business opportunity. And whether that actually amounts to anything, I've already got my hands totally full, let me tell you. And so basically, I'm always trying to see what I can do. And this is something that you can always leverage other people, other business partners, other expertise that individuals have, and you can collaborate. You don't need to be everything. Or you could do what I do, what I've taught, and that is to use a scalable business. I do Amazon. There's TikTok. There's all these kind of businesses to sell on e-commerce. Why? Why e-commerce? Because of the scalability, not because you may like certain products, not because of any other reason. Scalability, because while you're working a 9 to 5, you still have this opportunity to start something on the side. But it can't be like if you're doing something and you're a handy person and then you go and want to, let's just say you can paint and you want to paint people's houses or paint people's fences and decks and porches. Okay, When can you do that if you're working a 9 to 5? Oh, you have to come at the nighttime, you have to come on the weekends, and so on. Okay, well, what if it's the winter time? Oh, well, suddenly you can't do some things. You see, when you're doing a business that's online, you have this opportunity to suddenly do things anytime you have available time. That's really the difference. That's what makes it so unique and so special. That's why I love it. That's the things that I've been teaching. But number one, get your situation in order, finances the best you can. This is the important stuff. I've got Compass available on my website for free. themoneygps.com/compass. It's a free financial education course for everybody. It doesn't require an email, doesn't require anything. All right. And then you go here and you could look at my website. There'll be a link right at the top, themoneygps.com/live. And on here is where I teach people live. I teach them how to build an online business. And this is very unique because nobody actually takes you through the granularity where you're just asking me in a very small group Zoom setting where you're like, hey, how do I do this certain thing? And I just explain it. Unlike many of these other so-called teachers, they haven't been through that process. So they just like barely learned how to do something. And then suddenly they're like a guru. I don't do that. I've actually been through the process and still going through it today. And I share everything, okay, in there. And if you were in it early on, it's very different now, let me tell you today. If you want to join that or the Finance Friday Live, just hit that link at the top of the description. I'm going to be doing likely less and less of the videos over time. And just because I'm just tied up with my other things. And if you want to continue to be able to contact me and see me regularly, then that's going to be the place, at least for now. So I appreciate you being here. As always, if you want to support the channel, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.